Say Islam. A lawyer said, I pray to Jesus to tell us who is this Allah you speak about? Where are his priests, his temple, and his shrine? And Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be comprised, with wall, nor hid with the hounds of any kind. Allah, all people worship Allah, the one, but all people see him not alike. The universal Allah is wisdom and love. Universal Allah is wisdom, will, and love. And that's the heavy topic. Yeah. So what did y'all get from that? I got from that. So Lord is clear. I pray to Jesus, tell who is the law you speak about. Where are his priests, his temples, and his shrines? Right there, because really that's not the common folk, right? Like the prophet Jesus came to the common people, but the Lord is not the common people, and yet still the teaching that the prophet Jesus was giving them, they hadn't heard. They hadn't heard about. You understand? Now, if I will raise his priests, his temples, and his shrine. Will, if all the people worship Allah the one, all the people are worshiping what they worship, whoever the priest is, whatever you worship in that, right? But they couldn't understand how it can be one. That's crazy. Anybody else want to share? What I got from that is what we all worship Allah, no matter what we call him. And nobody, we all worship him, whether you're Christian, practice Islam, or whatever religion out there, we all worship one Allah and the Father. And where can we find Allah? Our word. So if you love Allah or God or whatever you call him, you are worshiping Allah. Islam is Islam. With that, we pass it over to the prayer team. Are we putting some day? I give praise to Allah, honor to his holy prophet, Noble Ali. I give honor to more special honor to people come out to keep this so I give honor to everything that the statement gave honor. Here's the custom of the Moorish Science for the learn to tell the teacher more with the sympathize and do plain teachers after the that we take the meaning from this holy Quran. Right? That's a powerful custom. From the divine instructions that came from Allah through the prophet. So you know the reason why we do that, the reason why that custom was adopted, so that we can, one, remain humble, it's not me, I'm not giving you my needs, bro. And then for us to always remember where it did come from, and then to stay in line with it. So I'm going to read from the same chapter. I'm going to read from the same chapter, but I'm going to start at instruction number 3. But the light. I speak to you concerning the light, the brotherhood of life. He said, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. Let me tell y'all something. Before I opened up a holy front of the Moorish Science for America, I had never heard nothing like that before. I literally had never heard nothing like that. I never heard nobody say, hey, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. I never heard nobody, tell me that all life was one big family. I never heard that before. Before I sat in the Sunday school and we started demonstrating the Father, I had never heard that the God is the Father of the earth. I was talking to the Father of the earth. That's the way it's talking. So I didn't realize that he felt about me the same way I feel about him. chapter 40. He says the universalized one, yet he is more than one, all beings are one. This too was something new to me. You know, I was like, man, get out of the room, you know. Don't get millions of words. Everybody kill anybody can get. This is the type of teaching that I have been given when I was being involved. I have never been taught to consider that what I do to you, I am doing to myself. If I stop you from progressing, then I stop us from moving forward. Stagnate all of it. I didn't even know how to understand. I didn't know how to understand. You say by the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in what? By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in what? So now we're being taught here a whole new reason to praise the Lord. King of us was just because he's the king of us. Not just because he created everything that he is, but because by his spirit, all life is found in one. Now we was brought up game man. Now growing up game man, we come to leaders. They don't get into this for no reason. They don't get into this. Hold on, they don't fight. And we honor them because of the work that they put into to demonstrate their faith. Okay, so now how can we not praise the Lord, hold all life together just by his nature, the quality of what he is, all life is. And it's very important. That's amazing, man. That is amazing. So, when Jesus started talking like this, you can understand the Lord. You can understand the scribe. Like, man, I ain't never heard nothing like this. But then when you start to think about it, and you start to reach out, not with your physical sense, but you start to reach out. We start to reach out with our spirit. And you know what? I can actually feel that y'all are here. You can imagine that that's what they need. And then I can imagine it's going to no more. Right? Man, you have to become part of the possible with subjects. Because I feel it. I know it's real. It's all great people. Great meeting is this is Sunday school. I love Sunday. Y'all know why I love Sunday. Why I know why I love Sunday. It's what we learn more science. What more science is learned? You cannot begin to learn more science without Sunday. Islam, y'all got some good stuff. Y'all got that. Questions for Moorish children. Let's talk about that. It says Quran questions for Moorish children. Why? Why? You're all Allah's children. But guess what else? You're also that man's child. That is the father of us. And believe it or not, there is salvation in that, and there's earthly salvation. Okay? We're going to talk about the divine salvation being the child of the prophet, Noble Ali. All right? Being the child of the prophet, Noble Ali means that this man is incredible as he was, and I always talk about how incredible that he is. We all have that in us. He did nothing. He ain't did nothing that we can't do ourselves. He ain't did nothing that we can't do ourselves. He did a lot, right? We all know that. We all know, do we all know some of the things that the prophet Noble did? But I know you. Yesterday we had a discussion about the Religious Corporation Act, right? So what year was the Moorish Science in America founded? 1913 AD. What year did the institution of slavery end? How many years is between 1865 and 1913 AD? What's 13 plus 35? 48. 43. So from 1865 to 1913 AD, we had all of these illiterate Asiatics. These Asiatics, for the most part, who done spent the majority on the plantation. But here comes this man, how did he even know what the Corporation Act was? How did he even know how to authority like that? How old was he? 27 years old. 27. Shows the dedication to learn. That shows the dedication to dig, research, investigating. Right? Because he did it. He wasn't just trying, he wasn't experimenting on nothing. You know what I mean? He wasn't experimenting on nothing. And the house he built, they didn't really do it. Let's just keep it simple and plain. Why was nothing like this? They didn't want nothing like this. This is the game thing. He gave us this. He gave us this. He held his life. It's bam. When the bell rang, you hear it, right? The bell rang, you hear it. And then you know what time time free. Time free. He gave us that. That was amazing. That was amazing. That's the reason why other people want to take that and use it for themselves. All we should know the value of a thing, especially when somebody else book. They want to take it for themselves, and they want to cheat it from you. That's to tell you that value. Well, who made it? Who is love? Can we see them? Rest of this that we need. How do we get in the heart? How do we get in the heart? How do we begin to get in the heart? At the time. Islam, absolutely. Absolutely. Meditation is one. Definitely a way we get in the heart. What else? What did John say? What did John say? Turn to chapter number 14. That instruction number 15. Somebody read instruction 15 and 16.
The eyes of men shall see it not, and none can enter but the pure in heart. Prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king.
So purity, purity, purity. And John was taught by the master Matheno. And Matheno told him, this is what Matheno told him. He said to turn away from sin and strive towards purity in life. That's how we get to what we want. Turn away from sin and strive towards purity in life. Islam? So it's a journey. And it's a difficult journey because he says, strive. All right? Strive, I mean, you got work to do, no. It's going to be easy. So we got to turn away from sin because, sin becomes habitual. And then some of our sins are committed without us even realizing what we're doing because they are. You know what I'm saying? So it's a process. Okay? So I want to tell y'all something. You don't have to complete this journey before you can get to your heart. All right? Still those like that's no. See, that was the issue with the Sadducees and the Pharisees. The Sadducees and the Pharisees was making it impossible for people to get to their heart because they were telling them that the preaching. No. Turn away from sin, strive towards purity in life, and all you gotta do is learn how to do one tool. What's that tool? What's that tool? It's in chapter 7. It says salvation is a what? What is it? Salvation is a chapter 7. Salvation is the reason for the. Okay, now what is it? It's a tool, but which tool? Which tools? Salvation is the reaching from the heart of men to the heart of Allah. What? The ladder. It's a ladder, and it has 3 steps: belief, faith, and fruition. All you gotta do is pull your ladder out of climb. Pull your ladder out of climb. Ali.
He is Allah's prophet.
What is a prophet?
The prophet, thought of Allah, manifest.
What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Who is the founder of the Moorish Science of America?
No, Ali.
What year was the Moorish Science of America founded?
1913 AD.
Where? Islam. What year was the Moorish Science of America founded?
1913 AD.
What year was the Moorish Science of America? What year did the Moorish Science of America, I'm gonna say, start the corporation?
13 AD.
1926. 13 years later, right? So is the Moorish Science Temple of America a corporation?
Yeah.
No. The Moorish Science Temple of America was founded in 1913 AD. In 1926, the Moorish Science Temple of America adopted as its corporate name, Moorish Science Temple of America. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not a corporation, it owns one. Islam? That's just like you. If you start a business, you are not that business, you own it. And never forget that the mouth is more honorable than the wall. Too many more forget that the master is far more honorable than the wall. Far more. Islam? Don't forget that. Don't fall off into that. Don't ever adopt that line. All right? Because that's the line of thinking that causes us to be separated and makes us try to divide ourselves when we can't do that. It said by the sweet breath of the Lord, is better than what? Who's stronger than the law? So you can't take yourself away from me. We're not just holding hands, Lord. We bound by spirit. You can't take yourself away from me, no matter how hard you try. So all of these individuals who are trying to tear apart the Moorish Science Temple of America, they got to do what the prophet said. And they self up. Because he said, I gave you something that you can't tear up. It will tear you up. Islam? Never forget that, Mo. Never, ever forget that. So when the day comes, when you are here teaching this, teach that. Because the people need to know, especially the members. Out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Out from your Sunday school. What is here in this Sunday school, we must have it. Honest to my brother, Hannibal Eel, who brought this to my attention. The Prophet Noble Ali informs us that there is a benefit in spending some time, at least 2 hours, in the up-to-date library. Ain't that what he said? Right? So we fixing to get ready to spend our 2 hours right now in the world's most up-to-date library. Read the most up-to-date fact. Wrong? It is wrong. Where was Noble Ali born? Islam. Where was Noble Ali born? You got the number?
No, I had a hit. I had a brain fart.
Oh, okay. What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American? Did he say we descendants of Morocco?
Wow.
I want y'all to keep that, hold on to that, all right? Hold on to that right now. Hold on. Okay, go. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans? See the master word in there? Still. Teaching is definitely a master word. Look for it up. Question. I think that's a question. That's the word. Begin. That's the beginning. The prophet began to uplift the Moorish Americans by teaching them to be free. All right? And then the prophet will teach you a whole lot of more stuff. Whole lot. After Sunday school, you're going to learn a whole lot more. You're going to spend the rest of your life learning a whole lot of more stuff. In the Moorish Science Temple of America. There's a lot to learn. Well, right, so that's remember that. Remember that the master, you are assured that the master went that way because the master is leading you somewhere. So if it's a master is leading you somewhere, right? So whenever we say, well, what's the master word? You go in there, you find the word that's leading you to the truth. Huh? What is our religion? Is that a new or is that the old time religion? Oh.
No, it's old as a star.
Take a read, right? I'm gonna take a read to kind of give y'all about how old. Read from the Great Quran, Muhammad. So the turn to Surah 30. Turn to Surah 30. Ayat 30. Is so set thy face for religion, being upright the nature made by Allah, in which He has created me. There is no altering Allah's creation. That is the right religion. But most people know not. Huh? So set thy faith for religion, being upright, the nature made by Allah, in which He had created me. It is as old as creation. Islam is an essential to creation, keeping its structure. Without it, creation would crumble. And then he said what? There's no altering Allah's creation. So there's never going to come a destruction to Islam. There's never going to be an ending to it. All right? Even when us being sinful and disobedient to our forefathers and being made slaves like the Quran teaches us, they don't teach us. It said if you sin and disobedient, all people suffer slavery. So being the custodians of this religion, even though we were the custodians of it, we were tasked with shedding this light on the world. You are the light of the world. Do you know that? You know. You are the light of the world. Tasked with being such. And even though you were disobedient and sinful, well, it was still brought back to our attention that it's the nation in which we were created. So it is nowhere to fit. It's always there. It's always here. From the secrets of Allah, let man learn with. Go to the wilderness, youngster. What do you say? Go to the wilderness. Now you go to the wilderness. Where? Tell me. Where? Man. What's another name for that wilderness? Word of God. Word of God. Man. What was starting today? The name for wilderness is workshop. The prophet Jesus said these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind. Where things are made of thought and where we build up character. Ain't that the time to go into the wilderness? We can build up our character. What type of character we need? What type of character we need? Without moving upright. What kind of flag is the Moorish? What do the 5 points represent?
Love, peace, freedom.
How old is our flag? Which is our holy day? Why? All right, let's try this again. I want y'all to say it. I want y'all to say it like I'm saying it. Is that? Which is our holy day? Friday. Why? Because Friday is the day. And then Friday is the day. So birthdays are important. Birthdays are important. The day you got here, the day you arrived here on this planet, your Earth Day is important. The reason why it's important is because you came here for a divine purpose. We are all members of this divine body. We all have we came here with unique qualities. All right? Our capacity is equal, but our qualities are unique. You are unique, y'all. None of us are the same. Is that? But this world, this universe needs every last one of us to be ourselves. You understand me? So your birthday is important. Some people may say, it's a thing for us to celebrate our birthdays. Well, shame on you for thinking. Because I can open up this great Quran of Muhammad and I can show you in this Quran where Allah tells the angel, y'all know the story, Allah tells the angel that he's finna make a man. Didn't he tell him that? Before he did, he told him, he said, I'm gonna make a man. And the angel said, are you going to create one who will cause mischief and bloodshed? And Allah said, I know what you know not. And the angel said, you'll do it. So he's like, I'm going to work. But you know what we know now. And then it talks about something very, very special. It says that Allah, when he made this man, that he put in that man is ruh. Y'all know what ruh means? Spirit. So then he told the angel to do what? Bow down to God. And all the angels bow down except for one. Iblis. And who is Iblis? They come. Lord self. He said, you made him and God. You made me out of a smokeless fire. So he thought that he was very made. But he forgot something. When Allah made man, what did he put in him? It's his spirit. So when he was telling him to bow down to Allah, bow down to the Allah that's in him. Bow down to the Allah that's in him. This joker was made out of a smokeless fire. Y'all ever seen a fire that don't smoke? So he's the optical illusion in the first place. Islam.
I got a question that's like, it's kind of out of bounds, but it's kind of like in the mix of what we found out. You know how the Southerners, they call gravy a root.
They call who?
Gravy a root. Yeah. Like, so when you make gravy, you use oil, you know what I'm saying, and flour.
Right.
So I'm trying to see how did from that they adopt the word roux to make gravy. Is it because of some oil, like is that some sort of connection spiritually? And the flour being something like dust on the ground or something. Like,
That's the herb. So you would have to look up origin for the etymology of who the way they.
yeah.
So that's something different.
But then I'm thinking like the oil, okay, the oil, what does that symbolize, like when it comes to the soul, the spirit?
Oh, it's that. It's love.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maybe something like it's hard out. You guys stop it.
Yeah. Look up to anyone. That's important because if his own he upset because it's like moment five. Right.
Would that be considered like, and see, the people just say they never seen it, right? But you see it every day. Not every day, but people who cook meat in the ground. It's cold. These coals heat up. But some it gives you off y'all smoke.
A little bit small. But see, the Holy Quran tells us that not Holy Quran, but I want to tell you that the devil is not a particle. That it is the stack going up and will pass away. This is the holy man. The holy man. This is when the stack is going to fall. When it's not, don't be afraid of. But his whole thing, he's upset because Adam had a birthday. Adam was born. Adam came into existence on And Iblis was upset about that. Because he wanted what happened. Even though he didn't understand what happened really, he wanted the attention. He wanted to be treated the way Adam was being treated. Adam was being bowed down to. Adam was being introduced to the host of these beings that it's important that they have been there along with him. But again, that's a part of what a lot of people they because if Christ is a part of the law, that means he always was. He always was. And the prophet of God teaches us in our Quran that man is a thought of Allah. And that all thoughts of Allah are what? If always. Who's Jesus? Is God. Who was Jesus?
He was a prophet of Allah.
When was he born? Who was his father and mother? When you give in brief, the line genealogy, who is Jesus?
Great father. He came. For any day, father, father,
That what? What's the math word? So look at that answer. Yeah, math is in the what's the math word in the answer? Who?
Bye.
father.
Some of the great fathers who received the text. Right? So the math word is son. It is Moorish. Right? Here's another very important word right there. That word is great. So it's not saying that it's just a more father, but it's a more great father. It's like you and I. Right? One of the great fathers through which we came is right there. As a matter of fact, there's no some of the great fathers through which we came. Prophet Noble Ali, his forerunner, his supreme grand chief, and there's many, many more. There's many, many more. Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth?
Here's the word.
So now the thing that was Ali said, the prophet wrote this, right? So the prophet was Ali just said that the reason why Allah sent Jesus to this earth was to save the Israelites from the Iranian oppression of the Philippine nation who was governing the force of Palestine at that time. Right? Was that a racist statement? No. Was that right? No. So if I stand right here and say, I am not Mason, I am not a Mason. The Moorish Science Temple of America is not a Masonic order. I am a Grand Chief. I have not one single degree that I got from a Mason mouth. I have not one. Did I just say something right? Did I just make a mistake? Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the Moorish Science Temple of America and me. I'm telling you about us. Who job is to teach our Moorish Science? It's my job. It's my job. Who gave me that job? You understand me? This This everything that's happening here is about the rules and usages of the Moorish Science of America. We have to, when you come here and start teaching, teach that. Make sure you teach that. There's gonna be times where we open up all types of books. Y'all, there's a lot of books over there on the table, right? There's gonna be times where we open up all types of books and we study. And just because we're gonna be using those books because those books got stuff in it that we need to serve our purpose, right? But let's never, ever, ever pivot away from our house, which is the Moorish Science of America. Okay, so when you teach that. You teach that everything we doing it according to the rules and usages and the laws established by the prophet knows who I lead, first and foremost. Anybody law that goes against the prophet's law, guess what? Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you feel offended that we gonna honor Allah's prophet's law before we try to accommodate somebody else. All right? What are our grand principles? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Right? Anything that steers away from those principles steers away from us. Right? If it steers away from those principles, it steers away from us. And we already know what's going to happen. They're going to have a whole conflict that they got to deal with that can't be told in words. And keep yourself and your family out of that conflict, stay in line with the prophet's law. Right? I just wanted to point that out because there's several times in our literature where the prophet speaks plainly about certain things. He speaks plainly. When we look at the prophet's historical message to America, he says that there is much opposition. Don't he say that? He says much opposition. And he tells us where the opposition comes from. Right? He says that the opposition comes from those who have no ideas and no courage to force attention to ideas. And then he says it comes from Christian preachers. Now, is the prophet making a radical assertion against the church when he just tells the more simple and plain that opposition is coming from Christian preachers? No. He's just letting it be known. And then he tells us about it. Right? They don't understand. They don't understand. And then he tries his best to give them an understanding. Because this is his historical message to America. So this is public. This is for a long way. So nobody can say, well, he just said that in the church. No, that's what it's saying. It says, here is a more historical message to America. And he started off by telling them what the aim and object of the Moorish Science of America were, because he wanted to make it plain who we were and what we were, so that nobody would confuse us with somebody else or confuse what we was doing. So as a leader, when you leave out your Sunday school, you guide the nation, you teach the same way. Imitate the Father. Stand, you stand like the prophet of Ali is shown here standing on his name. Islam. And then chapter number 46 of the Holy Quran and the Moorish Science of America, he tells us that the Roman who crucified Jesus, listen to what he said. He said, the Roman who crucified Jesus founded the first church. Ain't that what he said? He said these same ones who crucified him took the first church and then made him the idol in the center of it. So the don't know, is that a assumption? Is he speaking against the church? He's just telling us the truth. He's just telling us the truth. And then the prophet tells us to imitate your prophet. He imitate your prophet, Lord. Speaking about it, making assumptions, when you go out in history and you go out thinking that not like Paul. Well, Use your hammer the way carpenters. Don't go out here swinging your hammer like you a Viking or something. That's a whole different type of hammer. That's a war hammer. That's not a carpenter tool. Right? Don't go beating your hammer up against brick either. Because that's a carpenter tool. That's not a mason hammer made to be swinging against brick. People need to know the difference. How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago.
About 2,000 years ago. What was the nationality of Ruth? What is the modern name for Moabite? Y'all remember I told y'all to hold on to something, right? Yeah, hold on. So this is the old time religion, right? So now let's identify with the old time word, Moabite. Right? So if the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, let's take a look at this again. The Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, what is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Why are we Moorish American? Yeah, right. Because we are descendants of Moabite. Because we are descendants of Moabite. Word Moabite means seed of the father. Who is the father? Seed of the father. Children of Allah. And then in your Holy Quran, chapter number 1. Chapter number 1 of the Holy Quran, it says that, but man, like every other thought of Allah, was but a seed. A seed that held within itself the potencies of Allah. Just as the seed of any plant of earth holds deep within itself the attributes of every part of that special plant. So spirit man as seed of Allah held deep within himself the attributes of every part of Allah. Islam, we are the children of Allah, and that's what it means to be a Moorish American. So while everybody's out here trying to divide up the universe, the planet, and say, well, the Moors was first over here, well, the Moors was first over here, well, the Moors was first in the heart of Allah, according to our teaching. It said that human seed came forth from the heart of Allah. Not from somewhere in Africa, not from somewhere in Europe, not from somewhere in the land that they now call Asia, Israel, or anywhere else. First and foremost, we came forth from the heart of Allah. And into the planet, and all of it is ours. But since we want to divide ourselves amongst each other, then now we divide up the earth. And the universe, we're trying to discover what it is. But we should have been new. If we would work together, then we would be everywhere in the universe by now. The conflict is what holds us back. As much as this world has changed in the 20 years that I spent in prison, if we would start contending one against each other and start working with each other, then it became home for a world where no such things, sickness, and death. It would be no such thing. Because all the energy, y'all understand how much energy we spend with this fighting that we do? We spend a lot of energy, bro. Y'all already know. We can walk all day long. We can walk around all day long. We can go to work, down with trip shit. Get into a fight. How long can you fight?
Untrained man, a minute.
You understand what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? A training man. You understand what I'm saying? Because the amount of things that you experience is tremendous. It's tremendous. If we
You can really work in place. Very good.
I don't know, we gotta work on the Negro problem. I mean, ain't that what the problem is? The problem is the Negro problem is your problem. That's our problem, that's the problem, we gotta solve this Negro problem.
Is the problem. So using that, because that is one of my pet peeves too, like. Go back before that, that we're on one big, things, global, the whole continent that stuff. Since then, all just one plan, and instead we went to the farthest west. What it would have been then, or study then what we call Africa now as well. So all the people, the original people of this land, native of the original. We still from that place. We still here. We are just still these same people. Out of the with division.
We get what?
That allows them to categorize for division.
Not only do we allow them to do that, but then what people represent the lowest level? Those who were cast out of the Holy Spirit and those who accept their seat.
Yeah, 1965. Africa, for Morocco, back to a back.
Was it 1965 or 19, I want to say, look it up more, I think it's 1964, 52. Flag and Moorish flag are actually not the same flag. Look, the honest thing, they- okay, even though this particular flag is from Rock flag has a black border. Flag, this Moorish flag has only for
That's the point. That's the point. How is it and this flag? You see, our flag. Raised here, here wasn't raised there. But they ain't gained their independence until say 1954.
I want to give us some that. Okay, so, y'all probably seen it, eh? You heard it before. Yeah. So, y'all heard the term, it was stated that George Washington, he was 6 years old, he said, "I tell a lie, I chopped down my father's spirit." Right? So then y'all would have heard that the Prophet Wali went to the White House to retrieve the Moorish flag. But he met Woodrow Wilson was about to become the president. What he about to become. So a lot of people say, man, that's a myth. That didn't happen. A 6-year-old was didn't shot down the tree. As a matter of fact, their whole saying didn't come out until almost 100 years after it was born. They don't know is that that's a Masonic code. Because George Washington is the father of the Freemasons at the time. You think that all is Masonic, demonstrated Masonic degrees all over the place. Right? So this is the Masonic code. And the chapter down to the cherry tree is the Masonic code. And it also speaks to what they are trying to continually never reveal. Which is the truth about the flag chopped down. And it being chopped down, in reality, it was given up. Once gave up that flag, that they could call themselves in. But we're gonna walk out of our Father's house. We can come sit on the floor and do it. We can come and be a footstool and do it. I want to show y'all something. Where something dead like that happened right here in the Bible. I want to show y'all how alive all of a sudden in Genesis chapter number 11. I want y'all to pay very, very close attention because this is also another story in the Bible that everyone is familiar with. But people not following what's actually taking place here. No. No. Sorry. No. Now the whole earth had one language and one speech, one nation. Right? And it came to pass as they journeyed from the east, all light comes from the east, right? As they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar. Shinar is the ancient name for Mesopotamia. Now we know where they at. Right? So they found a plain in Mesopotamia, and they dwelt there. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is in the heaven. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth." Now, I hope y'all can pick up these math words. They got brick, they got mortar, they want to make a name for themselves. They have a name already. What you know what the name of all the people before we get to this part of the book? You know what they call right now? The sons of God and the sons of man, which is the same thing. That's it. And if you say, what's another word for the Son of God? Say it. What's another word? The pastor brought us this word. We just talked about it. Son of God is the child of God. And say it. Say the one word. Say the word. Oh, but the most credits are the singers of the book. And more by means so David is Moabite. Okay, so these Moabites, he said, let us make a name for ourselves. They don't need, they like, we don't do so, we don't make a man ourselves, we don't need, and we gonna go over here, gonna get us a brick, with stone, and some mortar. Pay attention, boy. Pay attention. They gonna make the world. And they said, come let us build ourselves a city and a tower, top in the heaven. Let us make a name for ourselves. Let us be scattered abroad over the face of the whole earth. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. It's the sons of men. And the Lord said, indeed, the people are one, and they all have one language. And this is what they began to do. Now, nothing that they propose to do will be fulfilled from them. So, it's a lot happy with this. You ain't happy with this. Don't let us go down and then confuse their language, that they may not understand one another's speech. So the Lord scattered them abroad from them over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore, his name is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of all the earth. And from there, the Lord scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. Come on, bro. It's right here in the book. It's right here in the book, bro. You understand me? No, this ain't what we people are back to our father's house. We learning the language that was confused. And since we speak now in that language, see now that's how we speak. Timothy D. Williams said in the resurrection book, listen to what he said. He said, if you take 10 Asiatics and put them all together, when people look at them, they wouldn't all war. In order for them to find the Moorish American, they would have to get close to that Moorish American and get on his feet. Because the other ones gonna be speaking that Negro. But see, we want to be speaking that language that we was taught about a lot. You understand what I'm saying? So once they don't speak that language, they just think they don't really make it. They really be speaking it. What is good about that place? Everybody knows you get out there, right? A beautiful place. Beautiful. What the scripture called? The great heart. The great heart. So it was a beautiful place. Actually, it was created, it was wonderful. But inside, see, he wants to do the work on the inside. He wants to come in and build all these walls and stuff. It's called to work. See what I mean? See this plan? This is called to work. Inside of this building. It's called to work. We have to do is something on the stage. I know, but this, turn to 8. Entitled The Voice of the Prophet. Somebody read first page.
You have race pride, love your race, keep your voice on and welfare. On the part of this divine movement, then you will have power to redeem your Because where there is unity, there is strength. Out because you know that comment say in his song they made it what's the name John Legend it says so need a heart and wisdom of the old and the energy of the youth. So together we can come together and win things, but you know go back to question that I've been asking myself all day. Is the topic about the Babylon Tower. Now is that I think that I don't believe that I believe that's something they put there. My understanding where I was coming from this was that if we are one people, created from the seed of the Father, why would he have a problem with us constructing a building? Is this a metaphor statement?
No, if I just read it,
Yeah.
he didn't have a problem with the bill.
Yeah.
Everybody say he do. You understand what I'm saying? We just read the whole thing, word for word. Allah never had a problem with the bill. He didn't say nothing about the child. He said the people are one and have one thing. He had a problem with them changing their name. He had a problem with them doing things that that ain't what I'm talking about. This ain't what we do. That's what the problem was. He didn't have a problem with that. I mean, Lord. The Quran people and chapter number 29. And she thinks the Lord is the lies people. But that's the same way. So no, he never that's you want. Everybody want to direct our attention to this house. And keep on taking off the fact that they want to change their name. That they want to change the way they do things. That they want to be somebody other than who they were made to be. That's what a lot of them like. A lot of them they say that is make a name for ourselves. That is make a name for ourselves. And then they want to claim a part of the earth as they own. Oh no. They went to Shinola and they found a plane. That's an empty space. Now they can lay down a picture for you and say, what happened when you do that? You get out of this. That's what a lot didn't like. You know why Allah said let us come down and see the city. Well, remember, he came down to see the city. He was more than a tower. What was the city? He didn't have no problem with the structure. He had a problem with what they were doing on the head. Remember, they had adopted a process where their work was done on the outside. When Allah had taught them to do the work on the inside first. See what I'm saying? That's why we have to make it plain that we outside, we work on the inside. That's why the Prophet said in Islam was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. So we ain't just building these free. Now it says if you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science to work around it. But that's important because pride can get you in trouble too much. Pride can get you in trouble. So having the wrong type of pride can get you in trouble. But to not have no pride, I mean you just sit down and watch anything happen. Anything, you let anybody do anything for you because you don't have no pride. You understand what I'm saying? So now race pride. Race pride can get you in trouble. A lot of people who have race pride, they start hating. You understand what I'm saying? That's not welcome. That's not welcome. You understand what I'm saying? So that's I say, when you want to for America, then the more time for America, we teach them that age. Now that pride, that's really know your race because you know who you are. Now, remember, you are a spirit in the Father. So you will know that you actually have the ability to know your race. Instead of thinking that you are a nigga, a Negro, a black or a colored person who we all know don't have no ability to help nobody. Even the ones who ain't never heard of the voice of America, they feel and know that the nigga is inferior to everything else. That's the truth. But then they gotta learn that they not a nigga. You are not a nigga. You are not a nigga. You are not a type of, you're not other folk. You're not none of these things. You are a spirit in the form of God. And you're like, well, hold up, then. I'm not gonna do something me. I just have to learn how. I just have to team up with people. I just have to be a part of the process. I have to do my part. Whole change of the paradigm. You know what I'm saying? If that's what's talking about, that's what it is. You cannot people. Because where there is unity, there is strength. He's calling together these people who have this race. He said, we're going to unify. We're going to unify. And then we're going to do the work together. We'll show you how to do that. But he's just one man. He's calling us together. You understand me? We got many times when the prophet says how important it is. Why reading that very well?
Slave, which you have had, me, every one of you who this is a field open. Take your place in the affairs of men. One of got a underline perception that underline top of the head. You have to make comprehend what's not been seen. Is that separation. See, right now we are separated from the affairs of men. In order to become in the world of men, that nation of people, rather than just tribe Judah, tribe Israel, tribe Jacob, tribe Louis, children of God moving in this direction. That's one. Watch out. The all world in between us later. As we do this work, we'll figure it out. Yeah, while we're going over here, we all one people.
Children, why? Let's come together in unity. Out of that thinking that you are a Negro, black folk, colored person, because
Not taking our place in the affairs of men. What are some of the affairs of men? Talking about the nation.
Nation, we got agriculture, land, medicine, financial, army base, civics, law.
Listen. We didn't even think about it.
We gotta start nowhere that
Well, he tell another, you know, you say, out from your Sunday school comes from people who are going to be here. Those take the properties of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Our king was speaking to the earth, so that the earth could produce fruitfully. You feel me? This is what this is about. Word. First and foremost, he identified the time period. It's a time period. Right? He said, if you have rape, by the love your rape, right? Let me be known that if you ain't got a rape, right? You don't love your rape, it may not be. Right? He also said, keep open, long in and women. So he let it be known that you gotta be able to bear the weight of change. Change is hard, change can be heavy, change can burden. Right? He let it be known that hey, you can bear the burden of choice. It's the things that will change. You can fear, you can better, and all these things have meaning or perceptions different. And then we walk different, we talk different, we affiliate with here. You know what I mean? So you know, be able to bear the burden of change. Like be able to get comfortable with going through the process. So they ain't no we're doing this for a long time. That's all of a sudden we gotta do is here. We have to trust. Well, give us the instruction. He ain't just telling us to do some things about telling us how to do. We have to trust the instruction. Then God making the people. Meaning that in that nation, there are individuals who have jobs. With every job that you are given to do, well comes with responsibility means you have what if you do this stuff, something that you have. No. Yeah. See, if you have the grand sheet, you have but you gotta have something to get done. You ready up there. In the chair of the Moorish Science Temple of America is in faith law and force law. So you gotta have the full job, right? But within the structure of this nation that we build, people have responsibility. In order for them to be able to do their job, they're gonna need some help, right? But you don't have to be making sure that it gets done. So now you're gonna have to have the people to be able to communicate what they hold. And then they have to do what they part. You understand what I'm saying? We got a long way to go. You got to say we are hard-headed, stiff-necked people. Now we got to work hard these years and loosen up these days. Yeah. It's love. It's like the chicken. That's what you got. Get your whole chat all about. Everything. Is there's some between and the kid, the national environment movement. If you have a nation, this nation has the American citizen. First, the kingdom of heaven is all these things will be added to.
Always here is that, oh, man, the Indonesians, the Arabs come over here, they get everything. And we don't get nothing. You ain't got that because you ain't raising no flag. This United States was created for many nations to come and become under too many nations, one nation. And that one nation, they got aside benefits because they grab this landmass for agriculture, to build, to spread, to make it an economical, capitalism state. Arabs, y'all gonna come over here, we're gonna trade with y'all, this is what we're gonna give y'all. Indonesian people, y'all come over here, we're gonna trade, this is what we're gonna do with y'all. European, come over here, this is what we're gonna do for y'all. Negroes, we ain't gonna give y'all shit, we're gonna keep stepping on y'all neck. And because make y'all do everything, give us more words. We ain't got, oh, on the bottom.
Watch the language, profanity is prohibited. I mean, right. Everybody be right, man. And you know what the main key was? This is what was meant by speak first the kingdom of heaven. See, that's our nation. That's our nation. The kingdom of heaven. And all of these things that you're complaining about, you don't got. That's all. Love and still got about almost 20 minutes. Question? Let me look at the page. Let's take a look at page 7. Makes peace and nation. Author makes peace and nation. Somebody start reading. All right, Brian. That's yeah, race and nation. For I have so dedicated. Other things. Number one, I will move the stand for the west. These are specific land principles. Land principles. Right, remember that. You have their specific land principles. When you take a look at the board's leaders' historical message for America, you'll find some more principles. All right, I'll read. And The first paragraph, it says, and I'm on page 18, it says, in connection with the aims, objects, rules, and regulations of the Moorish Science Temple of America, I deem it proper to submit to you a brief statement of our organization, covering its inception, rise, and progress, and of the Mohammedan religion, which I hope will be satisfactory to you and be the means of causing you at all times to adhere to the principles of love, truth, freedom, and justice in your relations with mankind in general. I furthermore anxiously hope this brief statement will help you to more clearly see the duty and wisdom of at all times upholding those fundamental principles, which are desired for our civilization of our character, such as obedience to law, respect, and loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. So we have grand principles, love, freedom, and justice. But then there are those fundamental, obedience to law, respect, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. These are the fundamental principles. Again, obedience to law, respect, loyalty to government, tolerance, and unity. That's on page 18. Board leads historical message to America. We have that. Then we have the prophet of Ali telling us his purpose for writing this particular demonstration. He said, "For I have suffered much and severe in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement is dedicated to." Right? You don't know what the Moorish Science Temple of America is about. A lot of times, at that time, there were grand chiefs in the temple. You know, they were grand chiefs of temples in 15 states. Those Moors in them temples, some of the grand chiefs in them temples was moving in a direction that wasn't in line with the direction that they were set upon. Because they were confused about what the movement was about. But it's good.
Yeah.
That's a tool. Jewel. JEWEL.
Yeah.
That's a jewel. Treasure box.
Like watch. Whoa.
That's the jewel. Treasure box. See what I mean? Oh, value. That's the jewel. That's period. And you're the only person I ever heard ask that question since. Ever. I ain't saying nobody ain't asking. I say you're the only person that I ever heard ask. Word.
That allegory or a piece of art that
Right there. Look at that. Okay, so that industrious acts of the mind. That like industrious acts of the mind, we talk about some of the great things that the warlike have contributed to the world over the course of time. Great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine national movement. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names, national constitution of this free national republic of the United States of America. That's why I am calling on all true national citizens to help me morally and financially in my great work I am doing to help this national government. For without a free national name with a decent flag of your forefathers, there is not a national divine title of the government in which we live. Prophet is speaking. He's speaking directly to someone. Listen to what he said, man. I know all true American citizens are identified by national descent names. How many people know that? How many people know that? None.
All, look at all the European states. They all got flags, and they all heard that they sovereign in some capacity. And that's how they identify themselves. You know, you actually European on in the prison yard with your race, you know, white, or with your race. Oh, my parents are German, Irish. I'm saying they're gonna tell you their nationality. Right? As African American, you're gonna keep talking about your African American black. You don't know nothing other than being black African American.
He's making that choice. That's a conscious, even though it's for, but it's the choice. Choice. I'm gonna sit there and play dumb and act like I don't know who you are. Because you don't know who you are. So I'm gonna act like I don't know who you are. But the God knows you are legal and speak to the people who know who you are. And he tell them that I know. The prophet came with authority, demonstrating with authority. He said, I know all American citizens are identified by national descent names that answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic. He's speaking directly to the people who know, but who are going to act like they don't know when you don't. You let them know, no, I don't know. And not only is he's speaking for all of them. He's speaking for all of us. Don't turn, and then he turned around. First of all, these people, what they don't know, which means that they don't want you. That's like what they call it unplanned money. Unplanned money. So if you don't know that the money there, you ain't gonna get it. But if you know that it's there, you go there and like, that's something from you know what I'm saying? So you have these things, these advantages. But if you don't claim, and if you don't know what these things, this is what he said. He said, that's why I'm calling all true national citizens to help me more and financially. And my great work I am doing to help this national government. We help this national government, for without a free national name, America, with a decent flag, forward flag, your football, there is not a national divine fight of the government in which we live. So that's how they come and they say, I'm a Chinese American, I'm a German American, I'm a Polish American. So that's the national name, the free national name that we all have. In the divine warning by the prophet, he said, the citizens of all free national governments, according to the national constitution, are all one family bearing one free national name. So now they come, but then we have our decent name. All right. Now let me show y'all, this is not new, Lord. So when the prophet talks to his divine warning, he talks about where they place their trust. Right? He said they place their trust. When it was kings, say for instance, you was the king in Mali. Right? You the king in Mali. And someone comes. Before they even start talking about why they here, you want to know who they are. Right? And what people would do is they would have a crest or a flag or something to identify who they are. And then they would tell you, I'm such and such and so and so, son of such and such and so and so. You understand? And people place their trust in that. That has never changed. That has never, ever changed. That's why we have passports. That's why we have ID. That's why we have nationality cards. Because when you go on the Moorish Science test of America, the Moors want to know if you're doing Moorish Science if you got cars. You understand what I'm saying? So this has never changed. And it's so we can know who we dealing with. Remember the long flag. The flag tells you what? It tells you who you're dealing with. It tells you who's coming. Or it tells you what you're approaching. Right? And that's what family crests do. Because if I see the crest, what you all the pirate movies, somebody standing there with the telescope. They look, and that's a very specific person who got that telescope. Y'all know who that person is? That's the person who knows history. That's the person who knows people. That's the person who can look at the flag and tell you who's coming. That's the person who can identify the crest and tell you who's coming. This is who got the telescope. That's why they got it. So they can explain to the captain or whoever's standing next to it what they're approaching or who's approaching them. And that's the way the world works. And it has not changed. All right? Even in the streets. Y'all know it. We in the street, we be riding around, we see them crests on the wall, right? We know where we at. You understand what I'm saying? The crests tell us where we at. They tell us what we dealing with. So I'm from all the way out there. I'm riding around west. I see a specific crest, I know I can get out the car. I see another crest, I know I better stay in this crest. As a matter of fact, I need to get away from you.
It's a little different. That when we was coming up, they were their colors like. You definitely you see red, you see blue, you see yellow, pink, like they actually wore colors back in hospital. I ain't doing it, everybody went with yellow. Just at one time it was for colors.
That's what it is. People are still living according to the same type of system that they were the ordinary. So when the prosecutor demonstrate authority, you like, I don't know. If they know, then they must be what they know. You understand what I'm saying? When the prophet came, being exactly what he was. That's what a lot of people don't understand. We speak about George Washington say, I shot down my father's children. When the prophet knows God, he say he went there, he's speaking to the ones who speak that language. He letting them know that I know. Give me what's mine. You understand me? Now they have tradition. They have tradition. If you know you can pass. All you gotta do is walk. If you approach the place, you can enter if you know how. You understand what I'm saying? This is what the prophet like, give me what's right. We in there, they don't. And they say, oh, what you talking about? What you talking about? Jesus said, the disciples said, if you don't understand this, we're all good.
Yeah.
Prayer was like a metaphor or allegory. It comes in the form of two. Like the prophet before in your word, it talks about fire. Remember that he said you pull it, can't wait. You know what I mean? That's a curve, you know. So the prophet demonstrate a curve. Talk about think. Remember what the prophet said, getting our people to think, they say themselves. That's why we teach the way we teach, folks. You understand what I'm saying? That's why we teach the way we teach. That's why you have this questionnaire that asks you a lot of questions. It teaches you to ask questions. It also teaches you to answer questions. It also teaches you about what's not good. You understand what I'm saying? What he didn't say? Because that's saying a lot. Sometimes it's saying more than what's really being said. So you need a flag. You need a national name. You need a decent name. You got to ask a forefather. I want to know what the bloodline like. What you made out of? What's your pedigree? And the divine title of the government in which we live. You say, this is from your true and divine prophet, and the all-American and full sympathized prophet. It's peace to the faithful.